Alright, what are we gonna talk about today? Yeah, I feel like 2019 was a major eye-opener for me. Well, allow me to reintroduce myself. Get started now.
2020 is about creativity, spirituality, health, wellness, everything.
Let's talk about it, baby.
My name is Nisha. I'm a mom of 4, like she just said. I have a blog called Blendable Bunch, where I talk about, you know, childhood trauma, generational curses, trying to get out of that while raising your own family. I'm a wife, I'm a writer, a healer, I'm spiritual.
Nice, two of us.
Yeah, that's about it.
So my name is Shaniqua. I go by Nikki. This is Julie, also known as Diamond. And the way Nisha and I met was through a mutual friend. You were working with one of my long-term friends, who I went to high school with. We graduated. You know, we're really close from high school and still to this day.
And she became one of my very, very close friends, the godmother to my son.
And then I remember she started working with you, and she would always tell me about you and you about me, and how we remind each other about each other. And like we just had like a 2-hour conversation before we even went live, and we found out how much alike we actually are. Like, it's so crazy how the world works and put people in your lives if you pay attention to it. Like, everybody that comes into your life is for a reason and stuff. So today, basically, as every episode, we're kind of revamping the whole Supermomz dynamic. Yes, we're mothers, but Supermomz wasn't necessarily my idea, so I don't want to take that pitch and run with it without taking up proper measures first. So I'm going to start doing things my way, and the way I branded that is Nikki's Touch, because I'm Nikki and I'm just putting my spin on it. I was thinking about it for so long and I didn't know how to, like, you know, what are you gonna do with Nikki's Touch? Because I always wanted to do hair. I was into cosmetology, but I didn't want to do that. I was into childcare, but I'm like, if you brand yourself as Nikki's Touch, I thought about the whole Michael Jackson kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want you to think that I'm touching your kids with them. That's smelling so good. So it was a lot of processing, thinking to go into it. Now, I did not domain my shit, so I gotta copyright and make sure everybody else has my name.
You gotta get that.
So Nikki's Touch is mine, okay? So what we're going to do is Christmas Eve, and that just lets you know what day it is, not the significance of the holiday, just the time of the year. So with that being said, the end of the year is around the corner and New Year is approaching. So what I want to do is just take this time to reflect. Like the same thing you do on birthdays, a lot of people do it on New Year's or wait till the New Year to start to do something different. If you're serious about any change in your life, I personally feel like you're going to start now.
Yeah.
And it's funny that this binder says that. I bought this from Target, planner, and it says get started now. And I thought as I was going through it, what I love about it also is that it has like strong affirmations about reminders of what I should do. Yeah. Be the energy you want to attract in January. Yeah, I drew that. Because she drew this little scribble and I just wanted to do a diamond. It's okay to take a break. Like, there's just so many affirmations that's like reminders of like what you need to hear. And I went through the first 6 last night. Don't call it a dream, call it a plan.
I like that one.
It like really changes your perspective on things. Live your best life. And this is in April. I refuse to be anything but successful. So it just goes to show how words are so powerful. Set goals and write them down. And that's June. So if you can take those messages through the first half of your year, then you already got a lot of things going for you. But January.
So what do you plan on stopping for 2019, and what do you feel like you're going to bring in with you for 2020?
Well, if you know me, you know that I will give you all of me. I'm stopping that last week. Like, I can no longer give anybody any more of myself that, 1, they're not reciprocating, or 2, they're not appreciating. You know, it has to be one or the other, because some people, they don't know how to be treated. So I'll treat you and then eventually you'll treat me the way I treat you. But if at a certain point in time I'm not getting that same level of treatment back, yeah, reciprocation is big for me these days. And it is big because, like, I always be the energy you want to attract. Let's take that mantra. If I'm doing something, it's because I'm holding you to a standard to eventually do the same thing. You know, every relationship works both ways, whether we're friends, family, or intimate. Like,
a relationship is a relationship.
takes two people to tango. So I can't be the one doing everything, and that's something that I've learned that I've always do. I do it naturally. So I'm just also learning how to do it. So that's something that I'm taking with me into taking with me into 2020. So I can still be myself, but I have to choose who I'm being myself with. So everybody does not get me. So if you had me in the past, you lost me, and thank you for showing me how I should be treated. Seriously, because if I wasn't comfortable with feeling a certain way, I know that, and I'm able to deal with that. I'm happy that I'm in tune with myself.
Yeah, without setting boundaries, it messes up your process of self-love.
Seriously.
Because if you love yourself, you're not going to allow yourself to be treated a certain way. And that's where boundaries come in. I think for me, it's boundaries. The same thing for in 2019, and feeling like I have to prove myself. Like I have to prove that I love you. I have to prove that we're friends. I have to prove that I don't have to prove anything anymore at this point. At this point, I feel like same thing. You're going to reciprocate the same energy. I'm going to be able to feel the way that I make you feel. And if I don't, then that's it. I'm not compromising. I think this is the year of not compromising.
I agree with that heavily.
I think I just turned 30 this year.
Okay.
And I heard 30.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. 30s is a good thing because you kind of know who you are by now.
It's a real eye opener.
And you feel like, all right, I did this to keep friends. I did this to keep family. I did this to keep this relationship. I didn't say no when I really wanted to say no. And I think that this year, 2020 is going to be to where you focus more on yourself, especially being a mom. You know, you're pulled in 20 different places at 30 different times, and you leave yourself last.
That's really where it's set in for me. Like being a mom, she gives so much to me without having to spend money on me. It's just about like reciprocating that time, the love, the energy. Like, how am I getting this from somebody? I mean, not how, but just to put things into perspective. Like, if a baby can give off this, why can't I get this from like an adult or a friend or somebody who I've been involved with for so long? You know, just
I think it's a lot of pressure. Like, you know, being a woman trying to just, I guess, be in the mix in certain senses. Like sometimes you don't want to do something, but you feel like you're obligated.
Right.
And you get to the place, and then you kind of really don't want to be there.
That's where the no comes in, right?
Exactly. That's
so
when you learn how to say no.
I think you're the second person that told me, like a part of self-care is learning to say no. And you get, there's a power. No, you're the third person, because I just had a conversation with somebody yesterday about that. Like, she told me how, like, she'll get invited to some places. Being that she lives in Brooklyn, it's not always accessible for her to go to other places in the Bronx or whatever it may be. So her saying no is giving you the idea that she can't make it a front. Yeah. As opposed to her saying yes and trying to make it just to please others or be in somebody's space, and just, it's just not right. So I'm happy that she put that into perspective for me. Like, think about yourself first. Yeah. Like, how will you benefit from the situation? Yes, you want to try and please people. And I learned that I was a pleaser, like, heavily. Yes, for everybody, spread myself thin, try to help everybody. I want to make everybody happy. Yeah. But everybody doesn't want to see me happy. So I have to learn to step back and just make sure I refocus on my happiness. Or
sometimes it's not necessarily that people don't want to see you happy either. You're just not making it aware that this is what you require. Sometimes when you don't put it out there, like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is my boundary, people are just going to go with the flow, or whatever they feel like they want to do.
So I think for me, when you put that in perspective like that, I was a class clown. So it's like, to take me seriously now is really hard for a lot of people, because you remember me as like before her. It was a pre-Julie and an after Julie. She changed me in a way that I'm so much more mature. Like, yeah, I'm still silly, I still have a sense of humor, but like, I take things a lot more seriously now.
You need to reintroduce.
Well, allow me to reintroduce myself.
My name is Ho.
And it's funny because I put that on my gram last night. Like, allow me to reintroduce myself. Nikki's Touch, from Supermomz to Nikki. But yeah, that's pretty much just what it is. Like, I'm about to be 30 years of age. The high school Nikki that you know is not the Nikki that I am now. Like, I'm still the same in the sense that I will always be me. I'm very transparent, I'm fluent, I hide nothing. Take me or leave me as I am, and nothing to be ashamed of. I love me for all of me. But I'm learning also not to give too much to myself, in the sense that a lot of people ask questions, but they ask it so that they could be talking behind your back. And you jump in at any time, because I love the perspective that you come and you help me realize, like, not to take it personally. Like, things happen because of this or that. So you really helped me. Like, I feel like people are treating me a certain way, and you're like, it's not really that, it's this. So, but for the most part, I feel like a lot of people ask me questions. Yeah, they want to know how I'm thriving by myself, single mom, so happy, you know, spiritually liberated, mentally able, and look good. Like, how are you doing all of this by yourself? So you're gonna try to find, this is my take on it again, and this may be an insecurity for me too, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, people pray for your downfall, like they don't want to see you win, because I never had anybody like root for me, like, yo, like, you're inspiring me, other than you. I love what you're doing, like, keep doing it. Like, I feel like I'm doing something passionately from a place of genuity, like I'm very sincere in what it is that I'm doing. And not that I don't feel the need to be recognized, because I learned that also through work. Like, my work ethic shows, and this is why wherever I work, I'm always going to upper management. So take that with anything that I do. If I'm not going to put my all into it, I'm not going to do it at all, period. And it really got in between with my creativity, because I would try to be a perfectionist. I had to put that to the side. So like, when I started vlogging, it looked crazy in the beginning, you know, but then I liked how,
it's a process.
Exactly, I like looking back on it and seeing how I evolved and stuff like that. And it's all in a short period of time, but like, I was doing weekly videos, so with every video it gets better each time. So
you're self-teaching yourself, so you're self-learning. But you had just said something about
my friends and taking stuff personal.
Yes, taking stuff personal, and you said sometimes it can come from an insecurity. It can.
Yeah.
You're defending yourself. Right. You get what I'm saying? If you're defending yourself, it's because maybe you're not feeling too confident in that point, or maybe you're trying to figure things out still and you don't have an answer, so that makes
there's a lot of that going on now too. So yeah, I am, because I have to defend myself, because I feel like there's nobody defending me. So like, when you're wrong, not even when you're wrong, but if you feel a way about yourself or about me, and I don't agree with it, then I'm going to be vocal about it. But as far as the insecurity, I know from when I was in high school, and I say high school because that's where a lot of my memories start. Or even back to junior high school, I was heavy set, and I was a class clown. So before anybody would joke on me, I would joke on myself.
You were a class clown?
No, I was a class clown because I was academically smart, and I was done with my work before everybody else, and I needed some entertainment. I was mad bored. Like,
thank you.
I was done with my work, and I'm like, all right, you done yet? Like, let's play. And I would start writing, and I remember one time, I remember your freaking name. She's Jewish, Miss Vajipasi. In the 6th grade, she's going to take my diary from me and have me read it out loud in front of the class. She wanted to, but I got my mom involved, and she's like, how dare you do this to a child? But yeah, the insecurities I feel like come with and defending myself, because I like joke so hard on myself that I made it okay for other people to joke on me. So now that I want to like this is like really emotional, but now that I want to be perceived as something different, like, you know, I respect myself more, I want you to respect me more. It's like, how do you kind of create those boundaries?
You change the narrative. You have to come out and say, exactly. Okay, all right, that's what I used to do. I don't find that funny. You don't have to be aggressive, disrespectful,
I'm really aggressive
or
too.
anything to tell someone someone no. You don't have to be aggressive. No, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with that. That's not nice to say. I don't feel comfortable with you saying that.
And I feel like me saying it like that at that tone is perceived as passive for me. And it's just because for so long I was a jokester. So if I say it in the same tone that's not of any type of urgency, or like, I wanted to say sincere, but sincere is not even the word. It's more so urgency, like, this is what I mean, and like, that's it. So maybe not what. And the other thing too is like, people tell me that I have a smirk, like a permanent smile on my face.
You do.
And it's like, how can you take me seriously if I'm smiling? Like, I'm not smiling, I'm just a pleasant person, so this is why I have to get loud. Like, I'm serious. It may look like I'm smiling, but I'm not. Like, I'm really serious. And I think that's where like the aggressive comes in.
The aggressive. Well, maybe you can start off doing that, but
yeah, I don't want to be. I'm so nice, y'all. Like,
I don't like to be angry.
I don't like to be angry.
I don't either. But that's why sometimes you have to just be upfront and direct, rather than.
I've always been that. So let's use some other words.
You can even still be passive and still be vulnerable and direct.
This is what I'm taking to 2020, y'all. I'm gonna figure it out. Bear with me if you want. If not, bye. Stay 19. But, girl, what you want to leave behind in 2019?
Overthinking.
Okay.
Overthinking in 2019. I want to leave that behind. People pleasing as well. Feeling like I have to be responsible for so much. Like, I guess growing up, like I have so many siblings. I'm one of the oldest. I act like I'm the oldest, so I continue to be responsible for people, their actions, and try to feel like I'm protecting them rather than letting them have their own journey. And I think that this year is the real year where it's just like, you know, just letting stuff go, letting the pieces fall where they may, and just continuing to go. 2020 is about creativity, spirituality, health, wellness, self-care in all those forms. Just learning a little bit, learning how to just go with the flow. I suffer with anxiety, so sometimes saying no is a whole essay in my head. Like, how am I gonna say no?
You think about their reaction.
Yeah, how I'm gonna say no. What am I gonna say? Should I just make up an excuse instead? So we're not doing that in 2020. It's about healing and just being honest with yourself first.
And I think it's important that you say that, because on my timeline, I think everything for me is like reference back to Instagram, because what else is like relevant right now? Oh, thank you. Which one do you like? Because I have 2 pages now.
Not hers.
Well, that's 3 pages then, with her included. Because I have NIKK1_. That's the original one that I had, and the one that I'm rebranding myself as is Nikki's Touch. But
I think it's Nikki 1.
Okay.
That one. You know, I used to always inbox you like, yes, girl, this is perfect. I needed this one. Yeah, Instagram was always popping.
So before Instagram, there was Facebook, and I remember I used to always post some positive or inspirational, motivational quotes on Facebook. And this one girl was like, really, thank you. Like, your quotes helped me get through my day and stuff like that. So you just never know what little acts that you're doing is going to impact people. And I feel like this is where, like, this, I don't know if it's considered a vlog or a VCast at this point. I'll figure it out before the year drops or ends. But like, the message is gonna get to somebody, and they're gonna be able to relate to it one way or another. So just starting with that. But I brought up Instagram because the way the timeline and the universe, I feel like, has been shifting is like we're raising awareness to mental health. So it's okay to talk about it now amongst people of color. Like, we're normalizing, we're changing the narrative. Like, if you would tell your uncle you're depressed, they're not no longer saying like depressed. They're asking like, you know, what's making you depressed. So starting the conversation is a step towards healing, and I'm here for all of it.
Make sure you guys always check on your friends, especially if they just have like a life-changing situation, a baby, a marriage, a new job, loss of a job, a death. You got to make sure you check, because mental health it's just onset. You just never know when something is going to trigger you, or, you know.
Even if nothing is wrong, like, just check in, you know. If you care anything about anybody, check. If somebody runs through your mind, it's for a reason. Like, check in with them. I don't know, so many times we get caught up, like, I may have thought of Nisha, but I forgot to text her. And then she's on my mind again, and I forgot to text her. And then Nisha calls me, like, hey, I was thinking, like, everything all right? Yo, I've been meaning to text you too. It's like, we're all connected one way or another. Don't ignore those signs. Take a little bit of time out of the day.
That's energy. A thought is energy.
Yeah.
So if it comes to you, then you gotta do something about it.
And that's what I want to do with my energy. Like, I'm working on not changing my body, but like changing it. I didn't know what other word to put, but transforming it. Like, I lost weight and I haven't worked out. It was solely through eating. Walking is a workout, so I will walk too, but I haven't worked out in the sense of like really getting down and physical, other than stretching is a form of working out too.
Yeah, yoga.
You can lose weight through just stretching.
Look at the birds. You see them?
Beautiful.
You hear them?
I do.
When
There's a school. I saw them.
It's so beautiful.
A beautiful school of birds. Like, the weather is nice outside. Who would have thought it was Christmas? Because there's no white snow on the floor and stuff.
This is a nice gift.
It is beautiful, and it just goes to show the way the world is going. Like, whoever's not in tune with themselves, it's really gonna hit you hard. So don't take these messages lightly, you know. Be open-minded.
I really need to. My creativity is a really big thing.
It really is for me as well.
Because being creative, and whether it's writing, yoga, marathons, painting, music. It's all therapeutic.
Dancing.
It's all very therapeutic. I think we were born to be creative. Like, we're taught to use one side of our brain, you know,
exactly.
logics and, you know, schooling. But that other side, that creativity, it has no race, no gender. It's just open.
And we don't really, nurture it enough. Like you're right, we're forced to go to school and do this and that, but there's not a lot of activities to help us use the other side of our brain where the creativity comes from. So bringing a lot of creativity into 2020 as well. Every type of success you could possibly imagine, like as far as physical health, mental, financial, spiritual, all of that is involved.
So let me ask you, how has it been for you? Almost 1 year of mommyhood. How has it been?
Okay, so starting from the beginning in January, that's when you were born, right? So little. The first 2 weeks, I think I said a week at first, the first 2 weeks were the most challenging because I'm learning her, she's learning me. She's not the typical baby in the sense that she doesn't cry. So it's really hard for me to like figure her out. But the toughest part for me in the beginning was getting sleep because she slept a lot. And it's like I had so many projects on my mind to do of like fix this up or revamp this, you know, as far as bookshelf. Yeah, I'm super tired. Put the baby clothes away, like change the drawers.
Your body is still healing from childbirth.
So I didn't let my body rest and then heal. I just like hit the ground running. So it took a toll on me in the sense that like a few months later I started to feel the postpartum depression where I'm doing everything by myself, but it's like, you know, you actually never slow down. Like having a newborn is a job in itself. Don't try to do another job on top of that job when you're by yourself. Yes, you have the help of your mother who's at home with you, but she also has a life and she has to go to work from time to time. So that was the toughest part for me. Now, 11 months later, the toughest part is that she's trying to crawl everywhere. Look, she barely wants to stay down. So she wants to move a lot. And it's hard, but it was so beautiful. And this is what I wanted from the moment that I knew I was pregnant. Like, all right, I'm not working for the first 2 years of her life because I want to see her grow. I want to watch her. There's a beauty in it. I want to spend time with her. I want to learn her. I want to develop this relationship. And it's also healing wounds that I have from childhood, which we spoke about. Establishing a relationship with my daughter, getting to know her, and just taking it one day at a time. At the same time, using that time off, because when we're in the matrix, we don't think for ourselves. People are thinking for us, be here at this time and day, you know, schedules at work, picking up other shifts, distracting yourself. So having this much time off away from her allows me to really express my creative self. And this is where the videos come in. And the writing, I've been writing a lot more thanks to posts on Instagram as well, like challenging me to write every day for the month of December, which I was doing good up until like the 17th, and then it would be like every other day or every few days. So I did good for the most part, but it was just a challenge for me to like continue writing again. So I would encourage people to write. I don't want to go too much on a tangent. She's asking my baby and how year was, but yeah, right. So that was the most challenging part for me from the beginning until now. Yes. And sleep is no longer an issue now. I'm so thankful she sleeps through the night as well. Like even being with my friends.
It gets easier.
I thought that it was gonna get easier as she get older, and one of my friends said it gets harder.
It gets easier with the sleeping part. It gets harder with other things.
Yeah.
You know, I have a 14-year-old, 2 11-year-olds, and 4-year-olds.
Right.
So the older they get, you have to worry about outside influences. You have to worry about things that they want, who are they around, what type of activities. Because once they become teenagers, you was a teenager before, you know, it's a whole nother life outside that your parents don't even know. And then how things is now is social media. Thank God my children don't have social media.
Thank God.
And that's a whole nother thing. So it gets easier with certain things, like she's gonna dress herself and she's gonna feed herself and she's gonna use the bathroom by herself. But the emotional part,
thank you, that's confirming.
Yeah, the emotional part and the just growing in her personality and things like that, and those are the things that become hard and become very scary, especially now.
Right.
Like my son's school just recently, a kid came into the school with a knife. So they had to shut the school down, lock the school down. There were school shootings and stuff like that. Those are things that are scary.
Yeah.
But this is fun.
Yeah. He's tired. We could wrap it up now.
Okay.
Okay, so that was pretty much in short. We said a lot of things. We spoke about reflecting on this year, what we learned from this year. Let me say it again because I don't think I said it in this video. I feel like 2019 was a major eye-opener for me. I got to evolve spiritually. I got back in touch with my spirituality. I got a sense of confirmation of where I stand in people's lives and learning to be okay and letting things be.
Yeah.
So taking that into 2019 with me as well, not giving too much weight on myself. If it no longer serves me, I am done with it.
As well.
Word.
It can be right now that
you're right about
relationships aren't what they're supposed to be, but you know, it could be just the season.
Well, thank you so much for joining with me. We're going to wrap up now.
You can follow me on our_blended_love on Instagram and blendabluebunch.com for my blog. Keep up to date with my self-care and being a mom and a wife and trying to fit it all into a day.
And like, how do
you can follow me on our_blended_love on Instagram and blendabluebunch.com for my blog. Keep up to date with my self-care and being a mom and a wife and trying to fit it all into a day.
And like, how do you do it? You can find me on Instagram at NIKKEYSTOUCH. That's Nick Keys Touch on Instagram. Bye. Diamond, say bye. Bye bye.
Say bye bye.
Bye bye. Kiss.